Shidduchim podcast.
In the American Shidduch system, trying to get married has become a tumultuous war zone. The dedicated singles who are trying to alleviate this outcry are members of an elite squad known as the Shidduch Podcasters Unit.
These are their stories.
Welcome, folks, to another episode of the infamous and spectacular Shidduch Extravaganza. This is the Nobody Talks Shidduchim podcast. I am your host, Isaac, a.k.a. IJ. On this podcast, we, the guys and the girls over there, get together to passionately discuss, ardently discuss, the love, hate, and adornment we have for what is American Jewish dating in the 21st century. My co-hosts and contributors are Shidduch daters just like you. They are matchmakers, they are therapists, and most of them are literally people who are just trying to get a date from various backgrounds in the Orthodox Jewish community at large. Whether they be middle of the road, Modocs, modern yeshivish, modern or yeshivish, from Haimish or Haimisha or Hamish backgrounds. We have backgrounds of all different backgrounds. Now without ado, let's get to the guys bashing the girls bashing the guys, and all of us united bashing the shadchans and the parents sometimes. The views expressed on this podcast are documented to almost always be right. At 99.9% of the time, the views expressed by the host may not necessarily be of those of management and advertisers on this podcast. The website to be part of this program is shidduchpodcast.com. Our email is nobodytalkspodcast@aol.com. Yeah, that's right, AOL. And you can follow us on Instagram or DM us on Instagram at nobodytalksshidduchim. And we're on Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at Shidduchim. Here we go.
Don't know much about history. Don't know much biology. Don't know much about a science book. Don't know much about the French I took. But I do know that I love you. And I know that if you love
If it was only so easy, huh?
what a wonderful world this would be.
Oh, it would be Sam Cooke. Good vibes. Nostalgic. Nobody Talks Shidduch podcast. Here we are, episode 91. Joined in the studio today with Rivka. Rivka, welcome back. Thanks for being such a champ. You know, we just had you on there. Maybe, are you like replacing Avery? Like, that could be a big thing. Oh, scandal. We have featured a lot of different conversations, points from the man, and one commonality, one theme we've touched up on is the Shidduch Journeyman, and I wanted to put it towards the Shidduch journey female, the journeywoman. You know, there's a journeywoman going through these days, and I felt who better else than Rivka to come and represent that. Opening up with our topic, being an uncle, being an aunt, right? That's a huge part in like the development of any human being, but certainly when you're shidduch dating, you know, it culminates a certain point of your life. You know, so many are identified as it. I remember the first time I found out I was going to be an uncle. I remember it. Yeah. You know, I was going to, yeah. And, you know, it was a crazy moment, you know, very surreal. Yeah. So that one, yeah, my sister like randomly came over and I was like, what the frick are you doing here? Like, what are you doing?
She's like, I want to have like tea and coffee with you.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
No, literally.
And you're like, what?
I was in tears.
Why are you being so random?
I was just crying because it was my twin sister.
You're going to be a new uncle. You're going to be an uncle.
Oh, this is like a year
time?
ago already.
First
that was
time
my
uncle?
first one. Yeah, that was my first one. Yeah.
It's a great reveal.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah, yeah, it was 2022. Yeah, it was a year ago.
I just get told by my sibling.
No, I have the baby. And I'm like, oh my God.
That's cute.
It took a while.
Is it your
so
twin
long.
sister?
Yeah, twin sister. So, but also the first. So it's like really.
Yeah, I don't get these fun reveals. I just get
because
like,
you're at the point where it's like
No, even-
so many.
Yeah, kind of. It's,
Right?
it's
How
a
many
bunch.
do you have
It's
already?
a bunch. I have 10. Bezrat Hashem going on 11.
B'sha tova.
Yeah. And a bunch of
That's awesome.
unofficial nieces and nephews.
Oh yeah, no,
You know, like
your
the-
besties,
yeah, the
kids,
besties.
you know, and then
Shout out besties.
Do you are you still
Yeah,
close?
so I just get the by the way, just to let you know we're gonna have another one. This is after I could already tell they're gonna have another one.
So you're like last to know now.
Basically. Like, but the rest of us in the family are like, is
That
she
bites.
is she
Like, I wanna be the
expecting
first.
again? Is she expecting? What do you think? What do you think? Did she tell you yet? Did she tell you yet?
I just stopped doing it because I would just go over to everyone. I would walk over and I'd be like, "Are you expecting?"
Yeah, not that.
And then I'd be like,
Big no.
or I'd like find myself in HR.
Yeah.
Not gonna do that
no,
again.
I do remember with my first nephew. It was the first one. It was definitely
So special.
So excited.
I just joined the club, so like people out there listening, I waited like 30 years for this, and like finally
I waited
happened,
20
thank
years.
God. Oh, you're
I was in Israel
that's
when it
okay.
happened.
That's okay.
I was away when it happened.
The ones I'm like just envious of are the ones that it happens when they're like really young.
Yeah.
Because what happens is, and people are like, why, IJ, why? And I'm like, because they miss like freaking 6 weeks of school.
Yeah.
That's why. Because the baby
Sorry, I
comes
had
and
to
they're like,
help my sister.
Right, help the sister. They run to the hospital. Then it's a boy. They
And
get
the
the birth 3 days.
breast and the
It's
everything.
endless.
It's endless.
I love that. I used to love
And the
like,
upsharing and the
it was like some kid like Chucky was in my class. I was like, Chucky. Actually, it wasn't Chucky, but it was someone else. But we used Chucky as a good name. I'm like, Chucky, where were you? Oh, my sister had a child. It's just.
I was always jealous
I'm like,
when
oh,
my
okay.
when my my
that
friends
makes sense.
had
So
nieces
I
and
never
nephews
had
already.
it. I was like so. And so that was the story with the cup, and I was saying,
But I was
if
actually
you
in
have any
Israel.
cups, just donate us. We
Yeah.
just want to load this table up. You
All
see,
right,
the table's
we'll load the
getting.
mugs. I see you're getting
how do
more
you like,
official and everything. Yeah.
That's why. Yeah, especially my
And you're what 80 something episodes in?
90.
90. Okay,
yeah.
close. Yeah.
So
It's
thank
about
you,
time.
thank you to
Yeah.
the fans, thank you to the
Yeah.
audience. Oh, you're at
All
the
right,
club.
all
Oh.
right. Yeah. So I was actually in Israel when my first nibbling was born.
Nibbling.
Have you heard that term?
No. What is that? No.
There's no term for a brother or sister's child, right? Niece or nephew. So it's not your sibling. It's a niece or nephew. It's a nibbling. Yeah. I mean, there's the term niece or nephew, but
wow.
the relation to you.
Epiphany. Wow.
So yeah, so when I was in Israel, so
learning
I
about
missed the
life.
bris, I missed everything, and all
Oh, that
the.
sucks. Oh my God.
It was.
Yeah, that was
I just
weird.
had the pictures on my wall.
That was weird. Like that was a big thing in Israel because we had like a good family friend who was a good friend of mine, and she got married. Small community. I was best friends with her brother, one of my best friends, and we didn't go back for the wedding. And I was like, why should I gone back? Like, oh, how did this work out? Oh, and I was like, okay, like, would have been a fun wedding to go to. Maybe would even came back earlier from the year. But yeah, lot of stuff happened.
A lot of stuff happened.
We tried doing an episode and getting cathartic and
In
just
my family,
reminiscing on that. And,
in my family, when we don't we don't recall an event that happened in the family, it's like, oh, that happened when I was in Israel.
oh yeah. Oh, that's a good one. I like that.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna
yeah.
learning a little
Especially if you're
tricks
there
here.
for 2 years or more.
It's like, oh yeah, that must have happened in Israel.
It's like,
I
remember
don't even
when?
remember.
It's like, no, I must have been in Israel.
Oh, so long distance. Oh God, we should have done. I actually want to do an episode on like how to plan a date. And like this could have been perfect.
Yeah. We'll have to like cut and paste.
I can maybe I'll just kind of paste. I don't know. I
Yeah.
want to get back. Okay.
We'll
so
wear the same thing.
the
cut from
time.
same
Hello. Let me ask you the time zone tobbacle. Time zones.
place. Time zones can be
time
tough.
zone. I call it the time zone tobbacle.
Let's hear
like-
this.
Yeah. No. When you're like dating someone long distance and there's a time zone difference, that could like really affect the dating.
Yeah.
What do you like? I was dating someone like, for me, I was dating someone who was in Israel. I live in New York. Like, think about that.
Yeah.
And literally, like, my, when I went to bed, she was waking up. When I woke up, she was coming back from work.
Wow. That's
when I was
tough.
coming back from work, she was going to bed.
That's really tough.
Yeah, I literally
I wonder how often this. I mean, I know it.
I don't know how
I know
did
it
it.
happens often for people to be, in different time zones, and especially when people have work calling them to different places, or they met online or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's tough. That's. Yeah.
I know I did it.
How was it for you overall? Like,
well, it was amazing. I mean, it was amazing. It just happened to be, it was the one for me, and
okay,
it just happened to be. Yeah. Like, we,
if you're
it
listening,
was very real. Oh, I don't know if she's listening, but I moved on. I moved on since then, because this was already, so like, it was, I don't know, 3 years ago already.
Right.
Yeah. Not so far back, but, like 3 years ago. And,
BC.
we got to know each other. That was the big thing. We really got to know each other and accept our differences. We talked about our differences. And we talked about certain things that may have made us complacent, with maybe, trying to move forward with certain things about our backgrounds. And I worked on it. Yeah. Worked on it. We just talked it out, and like, we had, who else were we going to go to, and we kind of like got a therapist involved, which was like, hey, we're ready, talk, and we saw.
I think everyone should.
And then COVID came. So then it was like, COVID came, and it just
shut down.
It was done. Like, had to return the ring. But speaking about being cathartic, I don't want to, be too cathartic about this, but.
So I haven't had
but it's
too
doable.
much experience.
That's the thing. It's like, it's doable.
Yeah.
That is what I really want people to understand. It is so doable. But you have to meet. We met. That was a big thing.
Okay. At what point?
We knew each other in the beginning.
Okay.
We knew each other. That was a big thing.
Okay.
Like,
that's
she lived right near my cousins. And like my cousins were very close for me. So, that like kind of put a little reality into things, so.
Yeah. That's a big aspect.
Yeah, it wasn't just like
for sure.
You don't want to be catfished. You don't want to be catfished. I have a friend, and he met, and he met someone online, and it was just he's being catfished for like a year and a half. A year and a half. There's always a story. The iPhone was like up here on her face or down on the face. I don't know what happened. Totally screwed the guy up. Had to go to rehab, and we're never gonna know. I'm never gonna know. I don't know if he knew.
Other ball game.
Yeah.
That's
gotta do a catfish episode. Bring the guys from Catfish MTV on. Bring them on and just.
I've watched a few clips of that.
Let's do this. You like the show?
It's like, how do you? Not 100%. I mean, I watched a few clips, not episodes.
His name's Nev. Nev.
Yeah, Nev. I think so. Yeah. Yeah. It's
Nev or Niv or something.
Niv. Almost like Niv, like Hebrew. Like
I think he.
Is he?
I wouldn't be shocked.
He's
I wouldn't be shocked. I think if
there's some Middle Eastern background there. I think.
Yeah, I think so also. And he got catfished. People can check out that whole thing over there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that I always wondered, like in terms of catfishing, I always wondered, like, but how? How can someone just fall into that? Because at a certain point, it's fishy. It's fishy. It's called catfishing for a reason.
It's
but I get it.
Too mentally healthy. Either they're unhealthy mentally, or they're conditioned to. There's some
instability there.
Yeah. And obviously the person catfishing, and then the person who's there was something. Avery brought up like Mante Teo. So there was a whole thing with this football player. I don't know if you remember years ago. He had a whole thing on Netflix, and he kind of like fell in love with someone, a girlfriend, and she randomly died, and ended it ended up being a guy, doing the whole thing. So
it's crazy.
Dr. Phil got involved. That was like crazy shizzle.
I wasn't up in all that, but I remember it.
It was insane. So tobbacle. The time zone thing, you hear it. I think it's only an issue really when let's say someone's from California, New York, 3-hour difference.
Right,
Maybe
right.
you're from like Western Canada.
Right. So I haven't had it too
Hawaii.
much personally. I personally haven't had it too much. The time difference in terms of dating. I've had it here and there. I had it over when doing some video dating with somebody. It was like a 1 or 2 hour difference. So it wasn't terrible, but like it definitely wasn't to Israel or, another country.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too big, but there definitely was, like, especially because usually dates are happening in the evening after work. So, there's a little bit of that. One of us was usually staying up a little later, but okay. I'm a night owl, so it's fine with me.
Okay. You hear that, guys?
So, yeah, and I've had, like, if I was traveling to Israel or he was traveling somewhere or whatever it was, and then having, a phone call at some point or two when, while he was away, figuring that out. So for me, it wasn't, I can't speak on that personally so much, but it's tough, but I could hear that it's doable. If you want to make it happen,
Exactly.
you're going to make it happen.
That was a little bit of
If you're interested, intrigued.
my discussion before, like, or my comments to you was like, I totally get those. And I love and appreciate someone who can point that out where they like kind of struggled with this or that. But certainly I have like just a bias to it, or maybe I just worked on it where like, I don't know, like these things maybe shouldn't bother you, maybe like try to that and that. But if it does, it does. I mean, I don't know what to say, but just like in Shidduchim in general, like this certainly kind of adds fuel to the flame.
I think it definitely takes someone time along their dating process to get to that point. And it has to, you can't be, just told it. You have to experience it to really say, okay, I could let this, I could let that go. I could let it all go. I could let a lot of things go that
yes. And keep what's important.
Exactly.
Exactly. So like I was saying, for me, I just me, it was like there were some hashkafic things that I was like, you know what, I'm just dropping that, whatever.
Right. You did mention to me once.
If
like,
she wants to shave her head bald, like it's all good. Like we'll be Hasidish,
Okay. Right. You did get me thinking last time.
Did I help?
When you,
well, the show helped, not me.
Not
I'm
so
just.
much. No, you
just
got
like
me thinking when you said
the dude.
Yeah, you got me thinking when you said, do you have to match up hashkafically? And that's okay. For me, it still matters. It does matter to me.
It does. Yeah, at some point,
everyone's differently. There has to be a cutoff at some point.
Yeah.
What you are okay
for
with
sure,
or not.
for sure.
Yeah, so that's a whole other discussion, hashkafically.
Yeah, we should do another hashkafic episode, like hashkafa.
Does hashkafa? Yeah.
Well, we did. I think it was like 54 or something. So
that memory.
Let me ask you, what if, speaking of like these time zones, what happens if the two parties, okay, they're like struggling with potential move. So one, you're in
one would potentially have to move.
Yeah, to the other. Like times, and like not just okay. You're in Flatbush. I'm a Borough Park. Okay, we'll meet at Mill Basin.
Not like the person that I dated that that I asked. Would you consider living somewhere other than Brooklyn, for example? And he couldn't see himself living anywhere else but where he was.
Oh my gosh!
Forget the long distance
Where was
dating.
it? Where was it? Tell me.
It was Brooklyn.
Okay.
No, it was Brooklyn.
Oh, I thought you were like covering.
And then, I said, then I kind of brought up, well, have you been other places, other communities? Have you gone to see other communities and what they're like? And I'm a big proponent of, checking out other communities, going places for Shabbosim, seeing what it's like. I'm open to living somewhere else. I always said I could live like anywhere. But then I realized like living near family is definitely important, whether it's one side or the other side's family.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference.
So it's
I
not
see
really.
that.
So it's like changing.
Right. It's a big change. So going back to this, this guy was said, well, I was asking him if he's been out of town. He's like, well, I've been to Muncie. And I'm like, what?
Oh, you've been to Muncie. Wow.
And he's like, I was in Baltimore one time for a few hours. I was like, this isn't going to go anywhere. I need someone a little more open-minded than that. No, it didn't move forward for other reasons. I wasn't that nitpicky, but even though that was a big deal. But yeah, moving, the potential of having to relocate it's a huge deal, especially if somebody is set in their job. Even if somebody is not necessarily so set in their job, it's still, a big deal. I did experience that potential not too long ago, a little while ago, but not. That was in the beginning. So from the first date, it was already, hey, I'm probably going to move back to my country, Israel. And I would probably live in the U.S. at some point, but, would you be open to moving there? And this is, we're not talking like, Shana Rishona. We're talking long-term life. And just moving to another country is, you have to understand it's a whole culture that comes with it. Even if we're, Jews and we're used to going to Israel and we're used to spending time there in seminary and Shana Rishona or whatever it is, have family there. Once you live there and you live there long term, it's a whole other lifestyle. It's a whole other culture. So that's something you should definitely keep in mind if that is coming up for somebody. Another country means a whole other culture. And even if you feel like you've been there and you're used to it, it's a whole different story. It's a whole different ballpark. Moving to another state, I feel like not as crazy as moving abroad.
Yeah, people are kind of still could be a big move.
Oh, for sure, for sure. But it's
people
not
could still
as,
get be unabated about it. They have a passion. They're very fervent, but very ardent,
also living
very ardent about hey, this is where I have to live.
Also, if somebody's used to living, in the tri-state area and having all the conveniences, then moving out of town, or even to a large Jewish community that's out of town is still, you're not having the same conveniences you're used to. Thinking about family, all these things are like, you definitely have to go through a list of things that are important to you and say, can I move away from this? Am I okay if I move away from this? Like family. How would you be? Like, some people are super close to their family. Some are not so close, but once they move, they realize, I really miss that family. I have a good family friend whose daughter married somebody from Toronto, and she had a really hard time for years. She had a really hard time adjusting to Toronto. She was used to the tri-state area, and it was very hard for her. She's a sociable person. It was hard for her to make friends. She was in a community that also is different culture. Yeah. And that was a huge adjustment. I was maybe just starting to date when she had gotten married, and that was like my first introduction to moving for marriage. Once you get married,
never
for
thought
somebody,
about it before.
I thought about it, but not in that sense, because I got like a front row seat to it, kind of, because they're a close family friend and we heard about it. So I myself, let's say with let's say moving to Israel, I wasn't at a stage where I wanted to live in Israel long term, and so from the first date, it was a conversation. I said I'm open. I told him my reservations. I was very upfront about it, very honest, and that I'm not gung ho about this. I am open to seeing if I'm open to going on a few dates. Let's see if this can go forward. Okay, I'm open to the potential.
Have fun, right? Take it easy. Yeah,
I'm open to the potential of moving.
Totally.
Especially if he seemed open to living here at some point as well.
And there's nothing you said that would like galvanize him into thinking, maybe there's hope.
Right. I was very, I wasn't like, yeah, sure, no problem. Or like, we'll see. No, I was very open. Like, listen, at one point I thought I could do it. I don't think it's so for me to, I do value, and I'm close with my family. I love my nieces and nephews and my siblings, and
at like some point, and I don't know. I feel like you're tied to your family, and not just you. Like, I think so many girls It's just.
I think so.
But have you had that conversation to be like, hey,
yeah.
I have to move on? I've had it with myself. And it's not easy. Like I've had that conversation
to like separate myself and my family.
If the right person comes along, I'm gonna have to do whatever I got to do.
100%. So that's why I was open to it.
Okay.
I was open to it. I was like, what is good for me in this situation?
Yeah.
So I thought about my my own reservations, not regarding family, just for myself. How I
that's
have
a good
felt.
way to. It's a really good way.
Yeah. Regardless
to
of that.
sit on that, to ponder that.
Yeah, because thank God, COVID aside, thank God, travel's a lot more accessible than it used to be. Wherever it is in the world. And that's even if it's tough, it would be tough for family to be coming to visit when you have a baby in Israel or whatever it is and you need help. I know many people who've gone through that. But so family aside, I definitely did think about myself in that situation. And I was like, what is speaking to me right now? That's one thing I said. Like what was my first instinct when it was like, hey, I want to be living in Israel is what he told me, or at least starting off there. And so that was definitely a conversation we had. It definitely came up throughout our dating. We did it for a while, and it was a factor toward the end of our dating. He had to go back to Israel. He had pushed off his ticket a few times, and
that was a sign.
Nope, that was not the sign.
It wasn't the sign, right?
There were other things, but that was in his mind. It was like, hey, I've been on your territory. I've been here. He wasn't originally there for me, but in the U.S. But he was like, hey, I would want you to see another side of me with my family and in my comfort, in my comfort zone. Which if we were to continue, I would have done that. I would have gone there and met his family, seen him in his surroundings and what he's comfortable with, take me to his favorite places and whatever it is.
You've got to,
yeah. So if we were to continue, I would have done that. So, being open, I think it's helpful to be open to the potential of moving somewhere, long distance or away from family or whatever.
Maybe that's a good way to kind of look at it, and not even to say it in such a Pollyannish way. Maybe it flexed those muscles in a way. You had a little good workout in a sense, a mind workout.
Yeah.
Where, you know what? I did this thing with this guy, Israel, okay, but now at least I know I'm like I could or I won't.
Right. Or I know my true feelings.
But I could, yeah. or I would even jump into that, and
it
I will defend the girls.
I'll add in one more thing about that situation. So we were pretty progressed in our dating. It was, I guess,
how long at
serious.
That point was it? Were you seeing each other? If I
a
can
couple
ask.
of months.
Okay, got it. So so that's a time to.
And also, he was staying in my neighborhood. We had met at a Shabbos meal, so we were going out often.
Nice.
Like it was very convenient, and we were going out. And it was in the middle of COVID, so a lot of things were shut down. So there was a lot more like face to face.
What did you do? You already told us a little bit.
We had to get creative.
Cards Against Humanity, I think you mentioned, right?
Actually, did I ever bring out that? Loaded questions? I'm sure I did.
Yeah.
I'm sure I brought it out. So once it was getting more serious, I had wanted him to meet my rabbi that I'm close with, that my family is close with, and that knows me very well, knows a lot of different life situations that I've gone through, and I trust his viewpoint, and I know that this rabbi would only want the best for me and give me his his honest opinion, and he happens to.
You still needed the third party though, like
no, I didn't need that.
You just wanted to see how it went.
Exactly.
Like, hey,
I didn't need that.
Right.
I definitely. No.
It was more like, hey,
I trusted
look,
my own instinct.
This guy, I'm ready. Yeah, because I see you as someone who doesn't.
I trusted my instinct.
I feel like I've done that when I was 22.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
No, so for
when
me,
it's us young older singles.
Us young guns.
The shadchans. What did you say? Young.
Us young guns.
Young what? Young guns.
Like young ones. No, young guns.
Young
like
guns.
Not guns. Like
young uns.
Yuns, like what?
We're young, older singles. That's what
It's
it is.
just like apostrophe UN, like
Okay.
young
Ooh,
uns.
interesting. Oh, is that slang? That's like.
Yeah, it's like a slang.
Oh,
like,
wait. Oof. I'm like, I just want to
Urban
like.
Dictionary that.
Urban Dictionary. Yeah. I don't know. I had like an anathema for Urban Dictionary. I was like, oh, what is this? Didn't get it. Probably because I was late.
Didn't get it until you had to like figure out what certain acronyms meant.
Yeah, they're like Balabusta. When Balabusta showed up, I was like, I'm out of here. I'm out of here.
Yeah. So not that I needed it, but I felt it was an important step for me.
Yeah.
Because
That's what it
not
is
just
at that
trusting
point.
this person's opinion, but this unbiased but biased opinion, but also because this rabbi does coach and see a lot of couples and is kind of known in his community as like the shalom bias rabbi or whatever. So he understands relationships and couples and dating and marriage.
Yeah.
And so I kind of wanted his input in a way.
I totally get that.
So we went to meet him, and that was when we met him. Aside for that meeting being revealing to me of
What
how
was
this
revealing
guy
about it?
interacted,
What?
the guy kind of took anything that the rabbi asked him as like an offense. Like, why is he asking me that? And I was like, because he's just trying to get to know you. Like he was asking about his family and like the most minor things, and it was just like,
I don't know. I don't know if I would do this anymore. I don't know. It's just. I don't know. I haven't been put in that situation though. So like you're just coming off of it.
What do you mean?
That situation, like bringing someone into your life and showing them family and friends and rebellion and the people in your life.
The people in your life, right? Yeah.
That's because.
So aside for the revealing aspect, so there was something that stood out to me, and I'm bringing it back to.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm bringing it back to the potential of long distance moving, relocating. So I hadn't. So we'd been dating for a couple of months already, and an extended period of time, and especially in I guess shidduch dating or whatever it was, and along those lines, and my rabbi kind of like asked him some questions and said some things, and I was just like, I hadn't even thought of it like that. Like he and I had already, the guy and I had already discussed the potential of me moving or him possibly living here. We'd already had conversations about this, and there was just another perspective that I had where my rabbi said, I feel like a seminary girl. Like my rabbi said. I can't wear that. I can't do that. Yeah, no. So
my rabbi said this.
Yeah. So he kind of said,
I just had it the other day. Oh my God, I'm rolling my eyes thinking that this girl was, and she was like setting me up with. We were trying to see if I was compatible with her friend. Trying, you know what that means when a guy says we were trying to see, meaning I was interested, and the girl's like, I don't know, like if I want to,
go out with
him.
I
don't think so. The lesson was there, as I have just repeat all the time, like just don't use single friends. Just don't use single friends.
Yeah, I've
it never
about
works.
That also.
It never works.
Yeah,
because or
if you start out with that, don't continue with that.
Subliminally, this girl was like totally. She didn't want this friend to get married. But it was pretty clear to me before she did. Because just be cool. Just be like, hey, I don't really know you.
I just met
I don't really know her.
Crazy.
Yeah, because I reached out to her. It was a weird situation. Just saw her at an event, and I was like, okay, cool. You see a girl at an event, not even interested in like pursuing anything. But then I found out from my friend, you probably know my friend, Instagram, Instagram, and Instagram. I was like, went on Instagram. I was like, who is
Rabbi
this
Google,
chick? Who is this chick?
Dr. Google,
and like her sister was married to my high school senior. So like, it's like
I thought you were
big
like
brother,
high school bully or something.
big brother, little brother thing, whatever.
Okay.
So I was a freshman. He was a senior. I was like, I really like that guy. And I was thinking about it, and it was so fun. It was so weird. It was like really cathartic, really cathartic kind of situation. And I was
thinking like, of all the people I know as a single guy, as a single, like, from or whatever, pseudo-from kind of guy. Pseudo-from, pseudo-name. I was thinking that this guy was like one of the ones who persevered because he got married later.
Okay.
Got married,
props to him
in
for
his
persevering.
30s. And he was a cool guy. He was still a cool guy, so I called him up. He answered. We schmoozed. I'm like, this guy is like solid. He's still solid. And I don't say
I still look up
I'm
to
not
him.
kidding you. I trash talk everyone now. I'm just like, F that guy. Screw that rabbi. I can't take anyone anymore. Like
this is someone I could still hold by.
They're always, they're just always like with the same, they just want to know why I'm single, how many shiksas I'm with. I'm like, like why? And then, what I still think about Obamacare. I'm like, what is that having to do with? And so anyway, okay, yeah, there you go. I obfuscated there, but basically, I found out that this guy was married to this girl's sister, and this guy was my role model back in the day. Went to camp together. He was my high school like big brother, whatever. So I called him, had a great conversation. So I was thinking like, what's the best way? I don't know. So I just threw my eggs into all the baskets. Like I didn't want to bring it up to him, but I just brought up to this girl and sent some shot never got back to me. Okay, cool. I ain't paying anymore.
Get back to the people.
I know. I don't know.
And people get back to the shadchanim.
It's a whole other game.
Yeah.
And just the girl was just like, I don't want to, I don't think it's a good idea. And if I just don't think it's a good idea, I just can't get involved, I told her like,
it's up to her.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But she's a young girl and there was reasons for it. I went
everything.
right away. I went to a guy at work who we have that kind of relationship where I'll ask him, this guy at work, I don't ask him about anything else. I don't care about the Yiddishkeit. I don't care about his politics. I don't care about, maybe, I don't care. We just, other things. I love the guy, but we don't connect and I just don't know him like that. So I knew him like this in this situation that he's been around toxic girls. He's been around toxic women. He's like 48. So I brought this case. I was like, yeah, I just need some advice. Like, what do I do? Like, how do I respond to this girl? Like, and he's like, just be very kind. Just lead with kindness in this situation, and just it's not going to happen.
Always take the high road.
Yeah, he's like, take the high road, and I'm like, no, I gotta call her out. I gotta like put her in her place. And before he could say anything, I actually thought, with helps of my therapist, I was like, you know what? How's that worked out in the past? I'm like, not so well. So I just respectively said, hey, look, it's okay. You don't know, if you don't really know me like that, it's okay. And then she's like, no. It's not that I don't know you like that. It's just, I just don't think it's a good idea. And I'm just like, no, look, you don't know me like that. That's it.
Yeah.
You don't know me like that.
Clearly.
And it's weird because like we met a few times, like this girl who I was kind of going through. It was like, honestly, it's so funny. I kind of bring things through full circle or through fruition here. But it was like kind of what you mentioned before. Like I actually met her at a singles event. We hung out a few times socially. We never actually went on a shidduch date, but, we built a little rapport with each other. So I feel like
the friend or the one that you want to go out with?
The friend. Yeah. Yeah, so
like she got you feel like
so I'm kind of getting the girl side.
Wasn't.
I'm kind of getting your side of it, like, which sucks. Like I go, you don't really know each other, but I'm like, honey, we're both Orthodox Jews, okay? We've been to similar shuls. We eat the similar food. Like, don't you understand? Like, we're very similar. There's a lot of similarities.
But then there's sometimes there's the nuanced hashkafas that and other things that a friend may pick up on, or somebody else is picking up on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this other perspective that I had, or are you finished? Actually.
Oh, I am. No, I'm
okay.
good. I'm good.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking. So cordially.
So the rabbi actually had a different perspective when he kind of pointedly, but in a kind way,
I want to know. Like,
said to the guy, he said, "So you want you want Rivka to move to Israel potentially, where like have you thought of how that would be for her?" And And, you know, he wasn't necessarily defending me. He was just like really asking in earnest. Like, have you thought of that for her? Because like she would, you know, probably, you know, where would you live? You would probably live either near your family, his family. And they're all Hebrew speaking. And does Rivka, you know, I speak a broken Hebrew, maybe slight conversational Hebrew. I understand it a lot better than I speak it, but he was just like asking certain questions that needed to be asked that I hadn't thought of in that way of like, hey, I'd be moving to not just a whole other culture, obviously, but and a whole new family, obviously, but it was, you know, I'd be moving to a place where, you know, this language wasn't my first language. I wasn't used to it. You know, it was like, it would be a super, even though, yes, again, we're Israel, we're used to it. It's our homeland. You know, all that Hebrew, it's our, you know, national language and whatever it is. But it would be like a whole new, everything for me, where he'd be asking me basically to give up everything, all my comforts, and forget the comforts, but everything that I'm used to, and forget family aside for a second, ask me to give up all that. And what's he gonna do to make sure that I'm comfortable with that, or that works for me, or, you know, or whatever it is. Like, have you thought about how that would be for her, and what, you know, what are you giving to this situation? You know, you're asking so much of her. What's not that everything's tit for tat, or you know, but there's a joint, you know, if it's going to be a partnership.
So you ended up,
it
sounds like it didn't, so it worked out, but you guys didn't stay together.
So the guy just didn't know how to respond to that. He's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't, he didn't even seem receptive to like, oh,
that's a good point.
That's another way
about that.
Yeah. And for me, I was like, hey, I hadn't thought of asking that.
And if he's, by the way, if he's like looking to pull girls from America to Israel, dude, I'm totally taking the girls' sides here. Like, guys who are doing that, girls who are doing that, like, WTF, seriously. That is not cool. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Stop doing that. There's too many. Oh, I could change them. It could happen. Da da da.
He's like, we can make it work. We'll live there for the first few years, and then we'll come to America. And I'm like, you can't. But there's also like, you can't guarantee.
I'm sorry.
There were other things that I was seeing also.
It's not going to work out.
There was a lot of passive aggressiveness. There was other things that were coming out over time that were not showing.
I feel like I know this guy.
Did
he live
in?
Who knows?
I just feel like nobody I know has known it. Actually,
is he like 38?
No.
A give or take?
No.
Okay, so I don't know. I don't know the son of a bitch. There you go. That's a good one. Thank you. Okay, so
so that was one experience that was revealing to me of, you know, just seeing different perspectives also, and another aspect of why it's so important to bring in to that bubble when you're dating somebody, you know, the bubble of your relationship. It's so important to bring in friends, family, rabbi, whatever it is, into that situation and expose the person and yourselves to, you know, your surroundings. Because it's not just you two, and you get another perspective. Yes, I got my mother's input too, and I thought some of that was a little extreme, and you know, in some instances. But you know, and it's my own mother,
she doesn't want to let you go.
There you go.
She doesn't want to let you go.
But a line in my family is, got to get off your mother's peg, got to get off that hook in the house.
All right, so Rivka, we are out of time, so I'm going to go to the closing. Okay, we're going to go to our closing.
Thank you for having me. It's been real.
All right, this was episode 90, long distance dating, meeting on social media, some different takes on, you know, where to date, how to date, some cool things. Rivka, where can the people find you?
They can find me through you.
Yeah, just find me. Everyone's like, just find me through you.
Find me on Instagram.
People like want to contact. Yes.
Fervent photog.
Okay, fine. Fervent photog. So
everyone's always like, what is that? Like, what does that mean? I'm like, fervent photographer.
I know. That's what I was telling.
Which is kind of like
fervent Avery. Fervent drinking.
There you go. Like,
Fervent
what does
dater.
that mean? I'm like, go
Fervent
look it
dater.
up.
Yeah, that's a grown up word. It's a grown up word.
Yeah. So when I started my
You know?
Instagram years back, I was trying to find some quippy
Catchy
way
word.
of like
Yeah.
combining photographers.
So hey, fervent photog. It's cute. It's catchy. I think it works. People find her over there. We're also on Instagram at Nobody Talks Shidduchim, a link tree at Shidduchim, TikTok at Shidduchim. So as I usually end off, happy face, smiley face, silly face. This is the Nobody Talks Shidduchim podcast, and I have a song. I want to play for the people.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, throwing it back. Thank you, YouTube. YouTube Music really contributed to this song. Like, they threw it in. Remember this one? You know this one? Yehuda from Cleveland.
Yehuda exclamation point.
Yeah. You remember.
That I know.
You remember. Rivka, thanks for coming. Yehuda with
Have you been feeling stuck in life? Have you been feeling lonely? There is one place you can go that will cure all of those issues, and that is Long Island Improv. Now teaching with Michael Rock, exclusive acting professional.
Check it out online, longislandimprov.com, or contact Avery. Nobody Talks Shidduchim podcast. The Isaac J. Held Experience. Maybe I should rename it. How classic would that be? You know,
Who made
like
this
you
song?
start something. This is just this is something I thought of. You know.
I like it. Definitely you.
Oh God, look at that! I just just totally screwed up the buttons. Okay. Anyway,
Are you recording at least?
I am.
Okay, that's good.
So how was your Chag, dude? Now it's post Yom Tov for us.
Thank God
was your
it's
Chag?
over.
Really?
Thank God it's over.
Was it that bad?
Not that it was bad. It's just I'm on this healing journey now, and trying to really separate from church and state. No, joking. Family matters, and really trying to develop your own sense of self and trying to be alone for the Chagim was definitely something new that I had to encounter this year.
I totally hear that. It's it could be a lot. It could be a lot. The time with the family.
Yeah.
Mentioned in one of the other episodes, like people are jealous of the singles. That's really, I think, what it comes down to. It's the only thing that like logically makes sense, that everyone picks on the single and talks on the single and this and that, and I don't carry it anymore, which is good.
Good.
Kind of worked towards that, but I still go to the occasional Jewish thing, and the guy says at shul or whatever. It's like, you with the face, not me. He's pointing to someone else. He's like, you with the face over there. I could tell you, and I could tell you he's single. And I'll just jump in. I'll just totally intercept.
We are a
and help
targeted
this guy.
market.
I'll help the kid, and he'll never know I even helped him, but he'll know he does, because they come back. That's the crazy thing.
Singles are targeted.
Yeah, we're targeted. God.
So
I know. But we're not in that targeted sense, like, it's not the targeted sense where African Americans are saying Black Lives Matter, or conservatives are saying
single lives matter.
We're being kicked off Twitter, whatever. Right. It's just a thing like that. Yom Tov, I was telling you, I was thinking about this girl that I almost went out with years ago. And, this girl, I was just like thinking about her, and like right before Chag, I just pulled out her profile, and I was like, damn, this girl's living it up.
Right.
She's living it up. She's having a great freaking life.
She's still in the core?
She's still in the Shidduch core. Yeah, she still is.
So there's hope. Maybe
there's hope for us.
Maybe a future Mrs. IJ.
Nah, she got very popular. She got really popular. So
don't we all?
I don't know if there are bigger, better things that she's looking for, and I just can't provide because I like the simple life.
So aspirations are high.
Life.
Aspirations
are
high.
her at? Well, you know who the girl is. I don't know.
I know who the girl is.
Is her aspirations high? I don't know. Well, they could be, and
are
totally.
Your aspirations high?
Oh, me? Well, if they were, I would be going for this chick.
So ring a ding ding.
Back in the day, I did. I sent like 100 shadchanits after her. And, go after her, go after her. I would send them out, and I had this friend, this chick. We were kind of like in a very platonic relationship. I wanted a little bit more. She didn't mind. And
isn't that the way it always goes, though? Like one party always wants a little bit more than the other.
Yeah, I wanted a little bit more, no question. And I understood the situation I was in. I was like past that stage of my life where like you kind of get effed from these girls. They take advantage of you. They do. And by the way,
put into the zone.
And by the way, girls get taken advantage of guys. It's just there's not so many of them out there, in the Shidduch core. At least even when they get older and stuff. But I'm working my way to become one of those guys.
There you go. I'm
going to become one of those guys.
Helping. Self-help is always the best. Big proponent of that.
Yeah, so I was just remembering this chick. What do I mean by we almost went out? Basically, she met my sisters. That's the thing. She met a sister of mine, and
is that like meeting the parents? Like
she met a sister of mine, loved her, and I think there's just this blockade from people. Family matters. The family really matters. It might matter to me. I don't know. I haven't been put in that situation in a long time. The closest thing I got a few years, like 4 years ago, was dating this chick, and her favorite sister, she had like 8 sisters. Okay. And her favorite sister was married to a guy I went to yeshiva with, TJ. And thank God I liked the guy. I actually liked the guy. He wasn't crazy, wasn't a troublemaker, wasn't into mischief or anything like that. I used to chill with him. He was like, we had good times. And I was like, dude, this is great. But I thought about it, and I was like, if this guy was, on my hit list, done.
Dump. Don't you have a button for that? Wrong button.
The other one. I would have gotten rid of him. So how about you, JoJo?
In terms of what would have done?
Yeah.
I mean, I like taking risks, and definitely not trouncing too much around the same girl. Definitely understanding what their motives are. I'm at a certain age now in life that the acquaintances between genders is not needed. So if the motive is not there to ultimately break into a relationship, it's not warranted on my part to. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere.
So beautifully said. So beautifully said. Wow. Kiss your mother with that mouth.
Do I see my mother?
No, but how do you get by? How do you get by? Like, I guess for Shidduch parlance, it's gonna be called, I guess, revisiting. Revisiting. You're there with some girl. You're matched with some girl. You went out, didn't work. Years later, and you're just thinking about her. Like, she just pops up. She pops up on your social media. She pops up somewhere, and you're thinking like, wow.
So the story's not uncommon. The story is not uncommon at all. You definitely hear of situations where either, from a girl's perspective, either the guy popped up again in life, or from a guy's perspective, the girl came up. Personally speaking, I believe in, hashgacha pratis. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. It'll come back your way. So it's not hashgacha pratis, is it?
No, hashgacha pratis.
Is that
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Hashgacha pratis or hashavas aveda. No, I'm kidding.
No, not that. Not that.
Hashgacha pratis.
but
There's one other term for hashgacha pratis.
But if it's if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If the guy is still in the parsha, if the girl is still in the parsha, it'll work its way out. Kadosh Baruch Hu makes it so we find ultimately our soulmate, whatever.
Wow.
So
Did
if
not
it's
sound.
meant to be, it's meant to be.
Didn't sound triteful at all.
I guess we're both stumbling for words on this episode here.
Yeah. Well, it was just a long yontif.
It was. It was.
It's everyone knows.
Draining.
It's Rosh Hashanah 2.5 days. Yom Kippur basically 2 days. The next one.
Forget all that. You had a Shabbos in between each thing.
Yeah. Well, dude. And you got a freaking Shabbos. It's crazy. No, you have 3 Shabbos.
You have Shabbos into Rosh Hashanah. Then you have Yom Kippur smack in the middle of the week. Then you have Shabbos into Sukkot. Then for the second days, Shabbos into Sukkot. I mean, it was feast fest.
It's not fun. It's not fun. You gotta. Yeah, my cleaning lady came by and I was like, TV. Why is it shut? Why is it shut? Oh God, I was like, why can't one of my siblings have another baby? So we have a baby nurse, and the baby nurse can just, baby nurse just sits and watches TV during the day.
And then you
over there.
Yeah. You feed off of that energy.
Like that would be. It was so long. It was a lot of stuff. So yeah, I was thinking about this girl. We went out. Let's call her. I don't know what's
Esther.
Cool. Esther classic. Okay, Esty. Let's call her Esty. Yeah, so Esty basically, she popped up. And I was just thinking, me during that time, kind of pontificating on those moments. I spent some time thinking about her, trying to get her, and it's not there now. You just can't subject yourself to that.
Right.
You always want to tell them, hey, I'm good, by the way, I'm good. But you can't. You cannot tell them you're good. You got to show them, basically. But you don't get an opportunity.
Have you ever done the, I've had the you've crossed my mind texts, through close friends.
I'm learning pickup lines,
Okay.
in my new online dating.
Right.
And so far, they all say you can't do it. They all say you can't do it. You can't do it. Can't do it. If you say you're thinking, if you tell a girl, you text her, I'm thinking of you, she's going to take it in 2 ways. The first way is just going to be, that's so sweet. And on the front of her mind, in the back of her mind, in her entire mind, you're just friends.
Right.
Then there's the second way she'll ascertain that, and she'll just be like, he's such a creep. That's it. You will never win a girl over. Anything like that.
The high and the low road on that one, right?
You can't get around it. So there's a science to it. It's a fun dating coach. It's a fun dating class. I'll tell you, recommend people. Just I've been to so many with the from shot. I've been through so many with shadchins and a from thing. So I figured let me try.
From dating coaches, we know.
Yeah,
they're part of
their
organization.
They're for really a lack of a better term. They're a bit primitive. They're a bit primitive.
You're
a new
and
it's
new
and it comes program. It everything you do is glacially done. Really takes a little time. And I don't mean that in any bad way. I just they can help these coaches when you're really in shidduchim and you're young. It doesn't work when you're older.
Right. So once you hit 24, you've exceeded the threshold.
Exactly that. You
become the
exceed it.
scraps.
Yeah, I mean 24, whatever the age is, whatever it is, it could go
30.
30 for sure. 30 for sure. Yeah. How's that going for you, JoJo?
So far, we're in the negatives with this one.
You're in the negatives already? Wow, so bad, huh?
But we're, like I said earlier, definitely, you hit a certain age where you start considering like your own spiritual growth, your own personal growth, how you want to, if not to say that we're not capable of getting into relationships after a certain age, not saying that at all, but are you healthy to get into a relationship after a certain age because of the systemic pressure that we have? Guys and girls alike coming back from seminary at 18, 19, being pressured into a system. If that's not working, then, you can't take that to a personal level.
Kind of like this pickleball thing going on.
Yes.
Everyone,
just like everyone's on that hype.
Yeah.
It's a hype.
Tom Brady, Brady and he went in with someone, some
wasn't he just in a scandal?
Chick. He went in with some woman, some female, and him bought a pickleball team.
Maybe that's what it was.
So they're buying a pickleball team. That's where the pressure's at. Everyone wants one right now. Major League Pickleball, and it's cool.
We were at our mutual friend for the first days, and
our mutual.
We were playing pickleball in the backyard.
Who's our mutual friend?
Shlomo from Nashville.
Oh, Shlomo from that's our mutual friend. Okay. Don't tell people we know. No, I introduced you guys on the show, on the podcast.
Right. He was on the podcast.
You guys know each other.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like that pickleball hype. It's like all that news and stuff. We'll see what happens. Yeah, poor Brady. It's like dude. That's sheesh. So you have your new book coming out. Tell the people about your book.
I do have a new book coming out. Hopefully in the next 2 months, we will be releasing chapter 2 of The Me. It's called The Me, chapter 2. Kind of like It Chapter 1, It Chapter 2. No, this is The Me, Chapter 2. It really takes us through a whole rebirthing process, coming out of trauma, growing up and living with trauma, and how one can overcome. So there's a lot of research that came into this book, and I'm very proud of it.
I've been seeing, I don't know what it is. It's so, in terms of psychedelics, psychedelics.
It is up and coming. What do they have now?
Is it really though? I feel like it's actually maybe been around for like.
It definitely has been around.
I think it's been out there. People are doing it. It's awesome. There's a certain experience to it.
What's the new one called?
Ayahuasca. I was in a Zoom and in a Zoom the other day, and this is what they were all talking about. This ayahuasca,
sounds like it was
DMT
very
ayahuasca.
productive.
Well, it was like a friendly hangout Zoom.
Okay.
That's what happens with. That's what's been happening actually with like us young people. I've noticed it because WhatsApp, you can now freaking have like 20 people, 12 people, 12 people, a dozen people you can have. That's
just like an egg.
It's insane on WhatsApp.
Carton of eggs.
Oh my god, you could literally have so many now. It's so that's finally that caught up. Like I was waiting on that.
So like you brought up, psychedelics are very, and there's a lot of.
I was watching some show that they were doing it. No, they were doing it. I was watching some show. Totally,
they were doing ayahuasca on the show.
No, it was like some Vegas show I was watching, and like one of the guys is cool guy. People like him, respect him, and he's talking about, oh yeah, I went the other day. We did a little like psychedelic trip, and I was like, wow, that is crazy. Like, right. I guess it's once you open your ears, you can kind of hear things. Once you open your eyes, you then see things.
And you kind
of close your. How's beautiful is that Ivris?
Somewhere in Tillam.
Is that Ivris? Once you open your eyes to it, yeah, it doesn't really happen you know, it's more scandalous. These things kind of pop up, like if you're still in the Welt, you know,
Right.
in the community. So it's interesting. It's nice to have that positive experience with it. What do you know about this?
I'm not well versed in psychedelics at all. I do know people that engage and partake in such activities. I know that there are Shabbaton groups that go into the woods and partake in these activities, if you wish.
I've got to have Joe and the camping co over.
Yeah,
We'll have our producer reach out.
we will. I will definitely act on that.
You'll
No,
break your
it's
deal,
just it taps into different euphorics of the brain, and certain, you know, it's research that ayahuasca definitely taps into deep traumatic events, more so than what, you know, shrooms will tap into, or what are the other ones? There's ayahuasca,
DMT. Shrooms, right? Ketamine, whatever, a little
Ketamine.
bit, but whatever. Not really psychedelic, but different. Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Powerful stuff.
I'm not all for drugs in general. That's not my MO on life, but I do think that, you know,
Well, these are psychedelics. So, I mean, they are drugs. It's just, I guess, a difference.
psychedelic drugs.
The psychedelic means like more natural. It's not actually like artificially
Right,
made, you know,
right.
and it's a
Exactly.
little bit safer.
But
Yeah,
there
no,
are-
I was telling someone from, this group that, you know, I was just telling him like, this journey sounds really good. He was telling me it was like 5 people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, guy and girl they were men and women. Sorry, it was men and women, and they were literally saying like
No boys and girls?
They had different experience. No, these were men and women.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Ouchie's Media Network.